Alright, this is going to be the first episode in a series for the Magneto list, and kind of doubles as the first episode of a separate series I want to do where we break down in smaller chunks individual matchups or aspects of the game. So in this episode, I'm going to do three different episodes on Webs versus Brotherhood from the Magneto perspective. I'm going to take three fairly difficult-ish scenario builds, and we'll see how we want to list build for that and how we want to maybe deploy in our opening moves here. So for the first one, all three of these are going to assume I lost priority. For the first two, I'm going to lose priority, and the last one, I'm going to win priority and get our worst case scenario. So I just picked like a generic Webs team here. I don't know if this is what Webs players are typically playing now. I think it's close enough. I think Webs are going to typically pick their secures. Not all of them are playing Scoundrels. A lot of them are playing maybe Infinity Formula or Spider Portals. Um, I would love it if they all played Scoundrels. I think that actually is great for us, especially if we lose priority. But let's say they win Prio, they take their secures, and we get one of these two. It doesn't really matter which one. We'll just pick Cosmic Invasion for the argument's sake. Our worst draw, remember, we don't have priority, so the lowest we're going to have to play at is 18, which is fine. 19 or 20 is better. But let's say we got hammers, so the lowest threat. Legacy is slightly harder because they can potentially go up to 1 round 1, but I actually think our punishes are strong here, so I'm not that worried about it. We'll do hammers because it's 18 threat. So what am I bringing? 18 threat hammers. Drop these down on the board. And then just real quickly at the end, I'll just show you why Legacy is not that big of a deal either. So we got 18 threat. I'm obviously starting with Magneto. I'm going Lockjaw, and I want to be 5 wide here. I'm going to bring Rhino, Toad, and Pyro. If it was a pay to flip, I'd probably go Quicksilver over Pyro, but I think this is a pretty strong Webs team. A lot of people just default to bringing Juggernaut, and Juggernaut is a great piece, but that doesn't let us be 5 wide. And I really want to be able to go out and get an extract lead as soon as possible, which we can't do easily on hammers. If they safe grab the side hammer, it's going to create a problem for us. If they bring something like Toad and they think they're safe, it's actually a huge punish in our favor. But if they do something like ASM and grab and run away, we're only going to get parity. So we need to figure out a way to sort of break their bunker and a way to get the extract back, and that's going to be with Rhino, I'm thinking. So I'm going to take this team. I'm going to actually bring Magnetic Refraction, even though you may not think so. I want to have that maybe for the all webbed up turn. Definitely Asteroid M. I want probably Pyrotechnics, Robbery. And then we can kind of choose between Fallback to protect our extract once we have a lead. We can bring Recal. We can bring Brace. Any one of those is fine. I'm kind of tempted to go Patch Up so that Rhino or Magneto can remain healthy. But I don't think that fifth card matters as much as those cards. And on their side, we're playing an 18 threat. I'll just pick a 18 threat team. Let's see, they're always kind of typically going this. I don't think they can really go. I don't know. I don't know if they go ASM here, or they go Spectacular, and then here's the problem. I don't know if they want to go double twos. So the problem with this list is I don't know what they want to do at 18 threat. Maybe they have another 3 in the list. We'll throw in ASM, drop Zemo, and go double 2. Sure. I don't know if this is correct for Webs or not. It doesn't actually matter. We want to look at the Toad grab and the ASM grab anyway, so it's whatever. Activate. Again, not a Webs player. We're just looking fairly generically, but I assume they're going to be 6 wide, so I guess this makes sense. We don't actually care about the double 2 thing. If they want to be wider than us by going Wong, that's actually awesome, because Rhino's just going to go eat him and go after Gwen. So again, I don't know if this is what the Webs player is going to do, but it doesn't actually matter. So I'm going to deploy them, and then I'll pause this and come back to after deployment. Okay, so this is roughly where I landed. What I'm doing here is he's got 1 safe grab and 2 pseudo safe grabs. So like Toad is safe-ish back here. Black Cat is hard to kill. I'm creating a situation where I'm making this hammer the more enticing one to pick up. So if he picks up with ASM and moves back, we're kind of happy with that. If he wants to get greedy and pick up this hammer with Toad or Black Cat, let's take a look. He can do so. Now, this is maybe not the best webs deployment. I just put these two characters over here, this character over there, and just didn't pay attention to what they're doing because it doesn't matter as much for what I want to do. I mean, a ghost spider set up over here to prevent an attack is definitely problematic. But if this is where he wants to start, then I will probably have my Rhino go grab this one, because I'm not really worried about ASM doing a bunch of damage to him. And Rhino with a hammer sitting on that point, he's not going to displace him. He can do some damage, and if that means Ghost Spider's the only thing that can pull Rhino off that point, I'm kind of okay with that. I'm going to have Pyro grab this hammer and sit back here, because what I want to do is cut the map in half. I want to control this point and this point. I want to have these two hammers, or these two hammers, and then eventually Rhino will go out and get a third hammer, and then get back to this back point or a side point where Magneto will be to set up the bunker. So that's our goal, is to keep parity, have Rhino figure out a way to get our third hammer. Now this is not the ideal scenario. I don't really want Rhino going here. It's not how I want to start. But if this does happen, Lockjaw is going to destroy this size 2, throw it into the size 1, which creates power for the team. There should be a construct somewhere, whatever. Doesn't matter. After he throws that, so he's going to start with 4 power. He'll spend 3 to throw those 2. 1 to himself, 1 to Magneto, 1 to Rhino. Rhino lost a power because he picked up the hammer. If he sets that up the way we think he's going to, well, maybe I should have moved that construct over. Then we're going to portal up Magneto with his last power, and the dog can go either sit on this back point, or he can try to follow. I think sitting up here is probably fine. And then he does something, whether it's pick this hammer up or position Ghost Spider over here. I guess he would have to go with Wong to power up Ghost Spider, and that gives us our opportunity with Magneto to start by throwing this size 3 into Toad, which we have the range for. So I have used no movement actions. I've now thrown a size 3 into a Toad that can't brace because he picked up his hammer. Let's say that does 2-3 damage. I'm not in range to hit, but I am in range to walk to the point, to be on the point. Wherever, let's go max range. Now I'm within 2, so I'll be able to do my 6 dice, my rerolls, and I'm hoping that a size 3 throw plus 6 dice reroll gets Toad. It's not guaranteed, but it's not bad. If he survives, and Slippery is away, so he goes straight back, he's out of range. That's not good. But we're banking on the 6 dice reroll all plus the size 3 unbraceable throw to get him. I like those chances right there. My Toad will probably come back here. After I threw that, I'd probably give Toad a power to Rhino, and a power back to Mags. And what I want to do is I want to move Toad back here. So either later on, Toad's going to pick this hammer up and hold it, or he'll Finders Keepers off of Rhino or Pyro later. I probably don't want the hammer on Pyro, so if they're doing that safe grab, Toad will just come get this hammer, and then we'll move our Pyro out this way. So that's roughly what we're going to do. And then the next round, we'll have priority. So he'll go up to a 3rd power. And then he's going to go, push. And then he's going to, get in there and try to attack something and start pressuring this back point. Now, it could be a problem where round 1, Magneto maybe gets pulled off. We're going to try to hold just 2 of these Ds and 2 of those hammers, and figure out how to pressure next round with Rhino. Maybe Pyro, potentially round 1, maybe instead of going to hold this hammer, this back D. Maybe he's positioning like up this way, something like that. That way, this round, like Lockjaw could move him up over here, something like that. But again, I'm never going to try to go after 3 of the Ds. I want to just hold 2 and let Rhino go chase a hammer. Lockjaw could also just move up this activation if Magneto was displaced, move up, find Magneto within range 3, and then move him, somewhere else. Whether it's towards that back D or moving him closer to Toad if Toad got away. If Magneto got the hammer, maybe we're even doing something like moving him back. Like if Magneto got the hammer round 1, I could even see Lockjaw like moving him back away from stuff and letting... no, I probably wouldn't do that. I'd probably just move Pyro up here so that Magneto and Pyro are going to try to get rid of anything that comes into range. But if I was worried about Magneto going down or a steal, I move Lockjaw up, get Magneto within range 3, and move Magneto back, set up Refraction. If I had gotten that hammer round 1, it means that I have 3 hammers, and then Rhino, instead of going here, Rhino just comes back. And then we start setting up, we control these 2 points, where maybe we've got like these guys over here, and maybe these guys over here, or whatever the case may be. But if we've got 3 hammers and 2 points, we want the webs to come into us and make singular attacks. So that's what happens if Toad or Black Cat grabs round 1. I like our chances of dazing the model there. Now if ASM had grabbed it, let me just reset the board. If ASM grabbed that hammer over here and then moves back, then we just go and we get this hammer with Toad. Whatever. Then they do whatever they're going to do. Lockjaw will still port Magneto up. This way, Magneto will still walk and attack something. It just might be later in the round. Like, we'll probably have Pyro grab this one first. And the dog will teleport him up and then move up here. Whatever, it doesn't matter. You know where Lockjaw was last round. And then I'm not sure what webs do. Webs player would know better. Obviously, it's super contextual. I'm just giving generic overview of how I would approach the matchup. But our goal is to go last with Rhino. So Magneto's going to throw something. Lockjaw already threw something, so he's at 3 power. Magneto's goal is to end up over here and hopefully having thrown and dazed a model round 1. So now we're setting up these 2 D points to be where we want to be. Rhino will then, like move. If we're a different terrain, this is a little bit easier. I don't remember I had him set up the first time. There, and then he's threatening the back point. I didn't position him right when I redeployed. Our goal is to be double short to get to the hammer, which we should be. Yep. Okay, so back to there. So instead, this is the path I would take. Move. Slide. And now he's got no extracts on him, and he's threatening something on the back point. Now, if they're smart, right, they'll maybe put Wong behind, but again, it depends on what your opponent does. If your opponent feeds you something back here, you swing with 7 dice. Maybe you get lucky and you daze something round 1. Maybe you are just ending up back here and creating parity on the secure, which gives you a victory point lead round 1. Or maybe it does nothing in terms of victory points, but it does put Rhino here, and next round we're pressuring. And then it depends on what happened here with Magneto, but Magneto will either open round 2 by KOing something and throwing some terrain to power him up further, so that Rhino can maybe start his activation at 2 power. Potentially Lockjaw opens up and, maybe moves Pyro towards Magneto to be within the bubble, or Toad just moves back as like a pseudo pass turn. But if we can go with these 2 models before Rhino activates again, he'll be at 3 power to throw terrain and create havoc back here. So that's generally how I would approach like a hammers and D-shaped scenario, Brotherhood into webs. I will record a few more videos on the Webs matchup from different perspectives, but this one's going longer than anticipated, so I'm going to cut it right now.